Mr. Wells.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thanks, Matt. Great presentation. I think, obviously, I'd say timely, but it's been the same message for quite some time. I think you mentioned 20 years or so. I mean, obviously, ice caps are going down. We just watched a show last night where Venice has 100 days a year where a lot of their public spaces are flooded due to high tides. But I'm just wondering if there's other municipalities locally or nationally that have done this. And also, like, looking at the actual things, and I see how it's very, I guess knockoff of the cigarette ones, but I don't see any of these, and there might be some that talk about alternatives. So you're driving your car, but you could potentially be doing this or that. So it's not all necessarily just negative messaging, but also talking about, again, trying to shift that mindset, I guess.
Powell River, Burnaby Terrace, and Port Moody have all passed motions directing staff to consider implementation in their cities. The City of North Vancouver is actually implementing as we speak, and their bylaw amendment or business license amendment has gone through first reading and is going to public meeting in November. Colwood, Saanich, Alberni, Clayoquot Regional District, Terrace as well, Courteany Boundary Regional District, the AVICC and Squamish-Lillooet Regional District have all endorsed this resolution. And then there is Oakville and Guelph in Ontario, and Moncton and Beaubassin East in New Brunswick, who have also are also moving this forward in their own associations of municipalities. We also have San Francisco, Santa Monica, Berkeley, and Seattle in America who are doing this down there, or in the process of this kind of stuff. So there is broad support.
Actually, like people riding the bike happy.
Yeah, no, fair enough. The labels. The first thing the labels are for you are just mock examples, and the labels that we would see here in Courteany, for example, if they were to pass, would be pictures of locally of salmon streams, of high tides here, things that people recognize and can relate to in a more personal way. The reason we're going with this type of messaging, and people say it's fear or negative messaging, and indeed that could be characterized as that, for a couple of reasons. The first thing is that is still the message we believe people need to hear. We consume information about climate change in a very passive way, oftentimes, through media, through the radio, through TV, through books. When we don't actually pick it up and put it in our hands and be part of the actual process that is actually polluting when we see this messaging. So I think that's one of the reasons why we're going with this. The second is we're not asking for alternatives just yet. And until we know the reason we need to ask for them, that's when we still need that information in that sense. We need to know why to ask. And unfortunately, that negative messaging saying what we're doing is harming the environment is still relevant and necessary.